Right, here's one of your first techniques group that you can really use in very, very powerful ways when it comes to clarity. You just want to ask your clients the question, if you, Jane, if you had, and you can transcribe this, okay, word for word pretty much, and then put your own flowery stuff around it, whatever, but basically, if you had complete clarity, total clarity on your life, in every area of your life, and you were completely clear on everything, what would you have to do next? Meditate on it. I have clients I've coached with their businesses, and they're running around trying to do a million different things, and it's just so obvious to me they need some focus of some kind. I mean, I admire people who do lots of different things. That's great. For anyone with a touch of the ADD like myself, it's really good for us to focus sometimes, because we spend most of our life going off in all these, whizzing off in all these different directions. Sometimes staying focused, having some slides isn't a bad idea, just to keep anchored. But for a lot of people, I find they need to focus just to move forward, just to be sane, really, you know, just to have a handle on things. But it's scary as well, because when you focus, it feels like you're compromising on other things or you're letting go of other stuff. But sometimes that's exactly what needs to happen. Because I've coached business clients where they've like, no, if I don't do that, that's bad. I need to focus on all these different things in my business. I'm like, well, no, let's focus on the one that's going to make a difference. And then you come back to the other stuff if you want to. And what happens is the minute they have that light bulb, that breakthrough of, actually, there is only one thing that's really making a difference here. The rest of it's just a sideshow. There's this one thing that if I do it is going to move that picture forwards. It's going to move me forward, it's going to make me do better, it's going to make everything work better. But the interesting thing is, as soon as they focus on that one thing, what they realize is, wow, I could do that 12 hours a day, every day of the week. It's not going to be done quickly. And then they start asking themselves the question, how on earth did I not do this? If it's taking this long to push through the bottleneck of whatever it is I've identified as the big thing, if this is taking so much time, so much focus, what was I doing before? And then you're amazed. Often you'll find that in life. When you have a breakthrough, you think, how was I operating the way I was operating before? I can't imagine that. How was I doing that? Children ask themselves that when they learn to walk, and they're thinking, how did I ever crawl? It's just so slow. I'm not going to get anywhere. And then they realize they're not as good at walking as they thought they were. Then they discover other things, cars. Does that make sense? It's kind of a journey, but when you have that breakthrough, so you have an actual paradigm shift from one thing to another, I'm trying to think what a good example might be. Okay, here's a great example. So most people who run their own businesses and they work for themselves, does anybody in this room run your own business and you just do it yourself? Nobody helps you with anything? Wow, I'm not putting my hand up at all. I've been there. See, once you realise that, who does their own bookkeeping? Okay. Who does their own bookkeeping and really doesn't enjoy it? Okay, work to be done. So the bookkeeping that you're doing, how much would a bookkeeper charge? Wendy can probably tell us. How much would a bookkeeper charge to do books for somebody, a coach? Or? And how much could they get done in an hour?
What area of New Zealand you live in?
But with their skill set, how much work could they do in an hour for somebody, for a small business? $55 an hour. So who in this room who does their own bookkeeping, their own bookkeeping, doesn't enjoy it, how many of you do something where you can earn more than $55 an hour? We start to become clear. We start to become clear. I have a friend who lives in Thailand, and he has a maid for his apartment. He's not wealthy at all, he just has a maid because everyone has a maid. I've got a friend in the Philippines, same, he has a maid, a nanny. I was speaking to him once online, he's from America, and he said, I'm busy today, Ed, because we've got a new nanny starting, nanny/housekeeper. I was like, that's pretty good, having a nanny and a housekeeper, that sounds great. And he laughed and he said, oh, you don't understand, everybody here has one, and if you don't have one, nobody talks to you. Because you're rude and arrogant and you're doing people out of a job and you think you know better than them and you think you know how to nanny better than they do and you're being rude. It's like, cool, that sounds awesome. So, the bookkeepers are great at what they do, and this is just one example, but here's the thing, and I see this, it's just such a lovely thing to see when people realise, wow, I love doing the creative work. You know, I'm a creator. I love creating ideas, new programs, new workshops, and writing blogs, whatever it is, you know, that somebody might want to do. And I love doing that stuff. And if I got a bookkeeper to do my books, for instance, maybe I found a student who wanted a few hours work, wanted to do some filing or whatever it happens to be, and I got some people helping me, then I can spend an extra 4 hours a week just doing my creative work. Reading the books I want to read, writing the things I want to write, creating the dreams that I want to create. And when they start doing that, it's very, very freeing. It's like, wow, I never realized you could do that. Been doing it all myself and I didn't need to. Don't need to do it all yourself. In life, you don't need to do life yourself. Just don't. If there's people whose source code is to do something that you don't like doing and they love doing it, that's just such a great opportunity. But the reason I'm sharing that is because I'm trying to build an energy of clarity. I'm not telling you what to do, I'm throwing some ideas out there. And trying to build this energy of clarity where you realize, wow, I don't know exactly what's happening yet. I haven't worked out yet, but something's changing and shifting. I feel there's going to be a breakthrough. I'm going to be more clear. Does that make sense, Jane? But here's the really interesting thing. After that, once you've employed a bookkeeper, or once you've employed a cleaner, for instance, or anything, someone to clean your office, whatever it happens to be, once you've made that breakthrough, afterwards it's like, who has made that breakthrough? Who employs bookkeepers and things like that? That kind of thing, yeah. How much would you want to go back to doing it yourself? No way. No way. So it's obvious afterwards. And that's what I'm saying about comfort zones. So for a lot of people, going outside of their comfort zone is to get themselves a bookkeeper or a cleaner or an assistant or someone to answer the phones, whatever it happens to be. Feels like that's outside the comfort zone. So instead of going outside the comfort zone, energetically we take ourselves to the edge. We take ourselves to the point where we start thinking, well, what if that was possible? So these are great questions. These, you should really listen to this. It's really important, and think about how you can use these kind of questions of, what would it be like? What if you did do that? I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm saying, what would it be like if you play around in that world, in that idea, in that energy? What's that like? You're at the edge of your comfort zone. For some people, it's a little bit, okay, makes me a bit nervous, but you might find, before you know it, that the edge of your comfort zone is suddenly the middle of your comfort zone. And the idea of actually picking up the phone and finding out how much people charge for bookkeeping, or could they help you with something? Hiring someone to design something for you. There's a website where people will design a logo for you for $5. Okay, that might feel like a different universe, but just playing around with that idea that you could have your own logo, your own business card, even if you don't know what you want to do yet. You're clear you want to have a lovely business card with your name on it. That's cool, $5, done. And then afterwards you think, well, why didn't I do something like that before? That's great. Another $5, you can probably get someone to design the actual card for you and give you the card ready to print. And then there's that business online that apparently does free business cards for the first, whatever, they do a really special offer. Suddenly you've got business cards, suddenly your identity is now shifting. So you begin to think differently about who you are because you look at that card and you think, wow, it's really exciting.